Hello everyone, we have another test-driven development in real life, always fun coding challenge for you today. It's Jimmer Boy here, giving you the TDD tips, going through it. Today we're working on build a string. We're getting into these hard difficulty HackerRank challenge problems, but we're not going to be afraid. It's gonna be fine. TDD, TypeScript, we're gonna do it. So yeah, let's go. Let's get into it. First, let's just go over the question. Like I say, I think this is really very important, just understanding the question, right? And really making sure you know what they're looking for, what the inputs of your function are, and what the outputs should be. I think that this is really important because you can get, 700 lines down and then realize you went the complete wrong direction with your function. So with that said, let's think about this problem, take a look at it, read it. So Greg wants to build a string of length n. He starts with an empty string and he can either perform two operations. So you can add a character to the end for $, or you can copy a substring of the string you have already, add it to the end for $B. And you need to calculate the amount of money that Greg needs to build S. So we have some examples here, and it just kind of shows you, okay, so we start with empty string. We're trying to build this string, A, B, A, B, A, C, A, B, A. And so 9 is N, 4 is that A cost, and 5 is the B cost. So you can see for the first 3 characters, it's more effective to just append. But then we have this AA, which only costs 5, and it would be cost 8 in order to append A and A individually. So we copy and append. Then we append C because it doesn't appear anywhere in our string yet, so we have to append it. And then we copy it and append the final ABA, and we have our string. Okay. So I think it makes sense, just the manual walkthrough of the logic of how they got to that answer. And I'm just sort of thinking about how we can write this function to actually perform this logic in code, right? So I just have this lucid chart diagram, right? I haven't done this problem before, but I was just thinking about it a little bit before I started this video. And I definitely recommend for you all to use any type of planning tool that you have, right? I mean, coding, at the end of the day, all we need to do is make it work, 100% code coverage, and, actually go through all the cases. And I think any type of tool that will help you do that is worth using, whether it's pencil or paper, or some type of charting application like this. I think it can really be helpful. So don't be afraid to use stuff like that. And this I just call build string brainstormings. I'm thinking, okay, well, the HackerRank challenge was called build a string, so I'm just going to call the class the function build string, I guess, probably. And so I'm thinking I'll do maybe a while loop, right? If the current string is less than n, then I'm going to either perform A or B operation and make the string a little bit longer, and then go back and check. Okay, is it less than n? If so, perform A or B. and just continue building on that string until it's long enough. So if it is less than n, meaning we need to perform an operation, we need to decide A or B. And I think kind of the difficult part of this problem is going to be this, finding the longest copyable substring, right? So back here, when we have AA, so we have the string already AAB, and then we need to find the longest substring. So A exists, AA exists already, but AAC doesn't. Alright, so then AA is our longest string. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, the logic of how we go about finding this longest string. But once we have that longest string, we can then go to this and say, okay, is the longest string more efficient than just adding these individual characters with the A operation? Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to let me just shrink this so we have it over here. I have some code over here. I just have a really simple project that I called build a string, and because I'm solving it in TypeScript here, I made a little TS folder. And so here I have just kind of the package.json, the node modules. I installed some things that were in the blog post, my TS config for TypeScript. Gonna open up the code here, and string builder just has a static function build string. So this, let me change the inputs to be the inputs of this function, right? So basically we're gonna have N, A, B, and the string itself. I'm going to say maybe target string length, right? Because I don't really like just N as a... yeah. This will be a number. Then ACOP, this will also be a number. BCost, yep, it's a number. And target string, which I'll just say is a string. And so those are basically the inputs of this function. And the output is the number, the cost. And so let's look at our test. So I have this test file. And actually, let's open this up. I'll split it to the right, just so we can have them both open. And this is string builder.buildString. So this is saying, hey, you're passing the wrong parameters. And I am just going to input this 945 AABCA that we have here as the given example test case. Okay, and we know that this should be equal to 26 is what the output should be. Okay, so now if I do npm start, we can start it up in 2DD test mode, just running Mocha with some special things for the TypeScript, handling that. I think it's just TS Mocha. Okay, so we're returning 4, it should be 26. Obviously, that's what we expected. So let's do this what I was initially thinking. Longest copyable substring. Yep. Okay. So I can say while n is less, no, Okay, I'm just going to move these just because it's kind of annoying that I can't see them. Okay, so gonna have to make some flies in here, so annoying, gross. So I'm gonna have to make some variables, and I know it pains me, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to do some mutable variables here, I think, just to keep track of things while I'm in this loop. So I'm gonna say total cost 0 and the current string equals just the empty string. And so while the current string dot length is less than n, which is the target string length, and I'm just going to, I don't want to get stuck in an infinite loop here, so I'm just going to say current string plus equals a. Okay, and if we can console log this, we can see that current string is just going to go through and have a added to it each time. Okay, fine. So basically what we want to do here, we have our current string and we have our target string. Okay, so now I will make this other function that I was talking about. Get the longest copyable string. And this will basically take the current string and the target string. Okay? And I think I'm just going to make this another static function. So it's going to take the current string and the target string, of course. String. And we're just going to return a string. Okay. Just so we don't have errors here. And, alright. So, getting the longest copyable string. Basically, so we have the full target string and the okay, I'll say if current string dot length is 0, then just return false. Okay, this needs to return a string. So I'll just return the empty string. And I'll say basically if this returns the empty string, then we know that we need to just basically do a operation, right? So I could even maybe make these functions. Perform operation A. And this really does not even need to. And I can say that the current string, okay, if I'm going to be referencing these outside of this, I think I will need to make these static variables of the class. Also, I could give these types, although it's pretty obvious what they are by how I'm initializing them. And we're going to need to do this here. Whoops. Okay. So while this current string length is less than the target string length, we're going to check if the longest copyable string is 0, then we're just going to perform operation A. And this will take maybe the current string and the target string. And I don't think it will return anything, actually. We're just going to mutate the static variables that we have, target string and current string. So this dot total cost, we're going to add to that a cost, and let's also pass this into my function. Okay, so we're going to add that total cost. Then we need to add that single character string. So let's say performing operation A, and let's say char to add. This is a character that we need to add, so I think we're going to do target string dot substring, and we are going to start at I guess current string dot length. Actually, let's do this one because I think it just takes the length. Okay, and I'll just say 1. I'll just say char to add, print out that character to add, and I'm going to return this char to add, and then so up here, oh no, I'm not returning it. I'm saying current string plus equals this. subtract to add. Okay. So let's scroll and scroll and scroll. So performing operation. So basically, okay, we can see that it's adding each of these, performing operation A, and it's adding each of the letters. I'm just gonna console.log, I'll say final string and final cost. Because I know this is not the right cost right now, because it's not using the B operation at all, so it's 36, right? So now, okay. Now we need to fit this B operation in here, right? So if I say perform operation B, so we'll take the B cost. Total cost, we're gonna add this B cost, and I'm gonna say copy current string and copied string, I'm gonna call it. And really, we're just doing this, right? Current string plus equals the copied string. So, not too much going on there. It's really finding that get longest copyable string. And, you know, we could even make a test for this. Well, I mean, I have this describe block here. I could really make a describe block for it. It should get the longest copyable string, I guess, right? Get the longest substring. Yeah, with the beginning, yeah. Okay, I'll think of a better name for it later maybe, but longest copyable string. Get longest copyable string. Okay, so say we have A, B, and that's our target string, right? We want it to equal AA. All right. So, expected empty string to equal. Okay, so, right, so if the length is 0, right, then we're just gonna return that, sure. But if the length is not 0, then I think we have something here. And, ooh, I was just thinking that I could oh, I'm just thinking, it's pretty interesting how you can do this. For loop. I'm just gonna go for loop. Straight up. I equals 0. I less than the current string length. Okay, so we're basically going to say the no. Okay, here. Oh, this is interesting, right? I think I'm going to start at current string dot length, and I'm going to loop down to target string dot length, and I'm just going to say console.log target string I wait a minute. So that is giving me all of the characters after, right? So these are the characters that we want. So what if I say compare that I'll say if target string I is equal, no, because it doesn't have to be, okay. I'm going to create a new variable. This will be target letters needed. Or I could just call it a copyable. First, the copyable string is that empty string. So, I'm going to say, alright, so we need the first, basically, character. Yes. And so that is that first A. If, okay, so I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna add the, basically this character, target I, I'm gonna add to copyable string. Then I'm going to say if the index of that exists in my current string. If the index of copyable is not equal to -1, meaning that is found, then this is a good thing. Well, interesting. Let's say if let's not add it just yet. Let's say if index of them together is not -1, then add it. else return copyable string. And let's see. So shouldn't actually be getting down to here. Didn't save it. Okay. So that looks like it's giving us the AAB that we wanted, or AA that we wanted, right? Okay, and then I'll just return copyable string. And it gets to the C, and then it realizes, hey, we can't do this, so cool. Okay, so that's what I thought was going to be the actual difficult part for this function. Maybe we could just make a few more cases just to make sure. Let's say maybe this is AAV, and then this should be AAB. Maybe if this is like SDF, FF, SDF, and we have this part, then it should just be SDF. Okay, sorry, I just passed these in the wrong order. This is the current string. Second one is the target string. Okay, and let's just have one maybe if there is no longest copyable string. Alright, so I mean, I guess that seems like it's working. I think, yeah. Okay, that's good. Wait. I think, I mean, really, this should be a private function, but don't know if, okay, so, yeah. See, I'm getting errors here that my tests are not liking the fact that it's private. It's fine. I can just make it public. These I'm gonna make private because they're so simple that I don't even have tests for them. I mean, I really want to write tests for this. I don't know. I mean, some people would say, hey, you shouldn't even have tests for your static function, private functions, but this was a complicated enough function that it actually helped me to develop it, building these tests, so kind of feels counterproductive to just delete the test now that it's working, because I'm going to want to know that it's working in the future also. So personally, I would say just leave it as a public function because, you know, who cares? It's not like there's Chinese hackers banging on your functions, you know, it's like, whatever, it's a public function. So, we have this get longest copyable string. Should be working pretty well now. So I'm going to say, right, if the longest copyable string is empty string, we're going to do that. But if it's not empty string, and okay, I'm not returning. I'm still in the while loop here, so I'm going to use the else here. And I'm going to say if get longest copyable string no. Okay. Dot length times a cost so if b cost is less than this, then we want to perform b. Else perform a. This one perform operation B, and operation B takes the current string, copied string, and the B cost. Current string, and this will be, okay, I'm just going to set this as a constant. Longest copyable string. Of course, that's a string. Okay. And all right, I'm thinking maybe this will work. And we just return the total. So it should calculate the to build a string. Lowest cost to build a string. And this one seemed to return 26. If I make it 29, we'll say, hey, expect it to be 26. Let's go back to the actual problem and grab that second test case. So 989 along with BAC, ACB should be 42. And this one, okay, it looks like we're getting 426. Interesting. So, why are we getting 26? What I'm gonna do is maybe add some console logs. Performing A. And here I'm gonna say performing B. And then in this while, I'm going to just print out the current string. Just walk through it and see what's happening here. Okay. So, current is A, and then we're performing B. Wait. Okay, let me just run this test first. Just a second test. So current's B, right? Current B. Okay, this is interesting. So get long is copyable for a while is returning just the empty string, right? For these first three, yeah. It makes sense, yeah. And then here we have an opportunity to do the B. Wait. Copy and append to be a C, right? So the cost is $9 here. Oh, whoops. This is performing B. Okay, wow, that's confusing me. Okay, so then, yes, we are performing A. And am I adding the total cost? I'm adding to the total cost. It's quite interesting. Oh, you know what's happening maybe is that because these are static, they're being saved. So in the beginning of this function, I need to say total cost equals 0 and current string equals this. And now we get the right answer. Okay. So, I mean, it's just some tricky things with mutable variables and static functions and variables. Yeah. I mean, if we had instantiated a new string builder each time, which could be a good pattern depending on what you're doing, then it would work fine. And we wouldn't need to reset those class variables each time, but I mean, it's passing for these two cases. I think this is good enough for me. Let's just go ahead and run the code coverage reporter. So I'll do npm test, and that's running the NYC Mocha, and you can see we got 100% statements, branches, functions, lines. We're doing it. Good things. Banging out hard problems like it's nothing. I can go in here, maybe just delete some of these console logs, right? I kind of like having a lot of new lines, right? You don't want 2 new lines in a row, but just to you know, space things out a little bit and make it a little bit more readable. There you go, string builder. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any suggestions, comments on this one, or hey, if you want to you know, send us a challenge problem to do TDD in real life. It's always fun. We're having fun. I hope you're having fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Peace.